Welcome, everybody, to the Adult Chair. I'm Pete Wright, and I'm here with Michelle Chalfant. Hello, Michelle.
Hi, Pete.
Okay, so we had to start the show immediately. This was like an urgent thing because we have to put rumors to rest. Room of control. That's what we are doing today. First of all, special thanks to Lorraine, who calls me the radio guy on Facebook. Thank you so much for writing in and commenting so kindly on our chemistry on this show.
Yes, we
Very
have
good.
great chemistry.
That's what this is. We're experiencing it right now. It's chemistry.
We are, for sure.
But you just told me that people think we have a script that you write and hand me.
Yes.
You can't script this kind of genius, people.
No way.
You just can't script what we have between us.
Exactly.
That is one of the best things I've heard today. So,
Yes.
For all of you who think this is such a well put together show that we've actually scripted everything we say beforehand,
It's impossible.
I take that as the highest of compliments that we sound that good.
Exactly. Yeah,
You're a little bit under the weather today.
I am. I got that darn virus.
I feel so bad about that.
I
That makes me
know.
sad.
It's like a horrific cold.
It
It's
is.
just bad, and it's never ending. So I might be coughing a little bit today. I'm sorry.
Are you? But the streets are clear there, right?
No, we did not. Okay, a week without school. We live in Nashville here. The kids are out of school again today.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No.
Oh, that's
No
horrible.
school again. They were out of school last Tuesday. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and now Monday. No school again.
Oh
It's
my
insane.
goodness, that is.
We only
so
got about 2 inches
horrible.
of snow, but we had a lot of ice, so we're out again today.
Wow. Well, I do want to tell you. I mean, I'm reaching for my phone right now. It is only 42 degrees and clear here today.
Oh, well, it's 25 here.
The sun is shining brightly. I had to wear my sunglasses.
Oh my God. Shut up.
It was really that bright driving this morning. It's so bright that it really is difficult to drive. So I can understand. We're clearly in similar places, similar positions right now. Yeah.
Today's the first day of sun, so it's good.
Well, that's
It'll
good.
melt. It'll melt. Hopefully, all the snow in the school. Kids will be back in school tomorrow.
Yes. Well, that's my fingers are crossed for you. But
Yes.
you have your system, your own physical system is now a beautiful metaphor for Nashville.
Yes.
You are recovering. My fingers are also crossed for you. But we're going to do a bit of something different today. We had this whole plan.
Yes.
We were moving from last week's show on addictions, which was awesome. By the way, I've been really reflecting on that and really looking forward to our next couple of episodes. We're going to continue to talk about addictions over the coming weeks, but we are doing something a little bit different to let you heal today. So this is going to be brief. Talk a little bit about what your idea is.
Excuse me. Today, and this is again such an ongoing topic, but I want to talk about anxiety. I have so many people come to me with anxiety. I myself have dealt with my own anxiety, and I want to talk about anxiety from the perspective of the chairs in the adult chair. And I actually worked with a client, and she allowed me to record part of our session where I walked her through how do you help your anxiety or remedy anxiety using the chairs. And it was only about, maybe 8 minutes, I think is what it came out to be. But it was a great little session that we had done. And I'm going to put it on this podcast to show people how do you deal with your anxiety using the chairs.
Can I, do you remember, it was several episodes ago, I have a story, and I don't want to belabor this because I know you want to go back to bed, but I have a story. So it was a few weeks ago, or several episodes ago, where I talked all about my adolescent that was climbing on my shoulder making me eat corn chips.
Yes. Yep.
So I have been so reflective of that experience of what that jerk is making me do, and so that was a really important thing because that was causing me a great deal of anxiety, and I've been thinking about this a lot, that my demeanor has changed as a result, that I am able for the first time in a long time to look at these things as sort of the poison that they are, and I have been less tempted by the little jerk on my back to do things that are debilitating to me. And that's kind of fine. It's a little bit out there for my normal worldview. But then I get on the scale, and I realize that in the last 2 months, I've lost 12 pounds.
Get out.
Yeah.
12 pounds?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I was 233, and I'm down to 221.
Good for
this morning.
you.
So, and I'm doing it in a way that is free of that sort of anxiety that I was living under for so long, that caused me to get, I should be 190 pounds, right? I'm no kind of lightweight, right now, but I'm able to sort of be free of this anxiety, and I'm seeing a real practical change in my physical health as a result of coming to terms with my adolescent and his relationship to food. And I wanted to share that because this is not just about, it's not just about how I relate to people or how I relate to myself day to day. It's becoming something that is manifesting in my cheeks and my neck and my belly and my back. Like, it's things I'm noticing a physical change, and it's as a result of coming to terms with this emotional change. I'm sleeping better. I'm going to sleep at a reasonable hour. I'm getting enough sleep. It's all coming round, but I really thank my relationship with my adolescent and this evolving relationship with the chairs and the way I'm dealing with the anxiety that was always on my shoulders. And so I wanted to share that. I think it's really a practical change, and I hope others will share their stories too. Call us on the voicemail. We would love to hear from you, 931-463-3813, and share your story. If it's okay to use your voice, we'd love to hear it. And you can write us at theadultchair@rashpixel.fm, rashpixel.fm, theadultchair@rashpixel.fm. We'd love to hear your story and let us know if we can share your thoughts on the show. So that was mine. And
I love that, though, Pete. That's so great. And that is really another podcast that I want to do in the future is on weight loss using the chairs.
Yeah.
It is amazing. It is amazing. And I think I used this example. I don't recall if I used it on air or not. But didn't I talk to you one time about having like an insatiable craving, walking in the door and eating potato chips in my pantry? I think we talked about that.
We did.
I was eating, and I just stopped in the middle of it. And again, going from that adolescent place, which is the unconscious place, and stepping into mindfulness, which is the adult, and says, wait a minute, what chair am I in? And I was like, oh, and all of a sudden the craving goes away.
Yeah.
It's gone. And it's just becoming mindful and learning how to dialogue with our different parts and exactly what you're doing. And that happens. People start to lose weight because they're conscious. You become conscious about why we're eating, what we're eating, who's motivating me to eat.
Right. It was so an amazing sort of realization because I had not put those two things together before in my life, and so it was an amazing kind of realization. And I very much thank that initial series, understanding where I'm coming from and what chair I'm in at any given point is an incredible awakening for me.
Well, I am. One. God, congratulations!
Thank you.
12 pounds. That's awesome. Jeez.
Yeah. So not that you have become my weight check accountability partner, but this was a big lesson. So I'm going to go with it. So anyway, why don't you give us a brief kind of introduction? You feel like you've introduced what we're about to hear enough, or do you want to give us some more of a preamble?
Just, what the heck is anxiety? And people talk a lot about having depression or anxiety. And in my opinion, when we think about being depressed or when we feel that emotion, it's coming from the past. We're looking into our past and we're feeling hopeless about things that didn't turn out maybe the way we wanted them to turn out, and it makes us feel sad. And the more that we focus on the past, issues of the past that we cannot change, the more hopeless that we become. And therefore, we start feeling depressed. Versus anxiety is about looking into the future and again, having negative thoughts about or making up again stories or assumptions about what's coming in the future and having it not turn out very well. So that then creates our anxiety. From putting it in the model of the chairs, though, when we think about both anxiety and depression, we have core feelings that are rising up. The negative feelings are rising up within us. And let's say it's something like, I don't matter, I'm hopeless, or I'm unlovable. They rise up, and then the mind does not know what to do with the feeling, so it starts pushing down on that feeling. And think about an energy, literally. It's an energy that rises up, and the mind starts pushing down. So it's two opposing forces pushing against each other. And when the mind wins, that is the feeling of depression. It's depressed all of those feelings down, 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 until they're so far down, we don't even have access to the feelings, and we are depressed. Versus anxiety is this ongoing struggle internally of two energies pushing against one another, which then creates that shaky feeling in our stomach, headaches, sweats, all of the anxiety, physical feelings. But when people come in and they say to me, I have anxiety and I need you to help me with anxiety, I'll say, well, let's get into the core issues of what you're feeling. And they'll say, well, I feel anxiety. In my opinion, anxiety is a physical manifestation of feelings that are being unfelt. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So anxiety is not, I know that people say it's a feeling, but the feeling actually is the knots in my stomach, the jitteriness, the, what do you get when you're anxious? We can't breathe that well. Nauseous, all of those things. Those are the physical, if you define anxiety, those are the physical features of anxiety. But really, it's just two energies pushing against each other. And I use the analogy, I think even when I'm interviewing my client, of two cars going bumper to bumper, like 150 miles an hour. That's what anxiety feels like inside of us. Their foot is on the gas and they're going as fast as they can and not getting anywhere, but these tires are smoking, and they're pushing. That's what anxiety feels like inside of us. So how do we remedy anxiety? We remedy anxiety by sitting and learning what the heck is going on with our child part, which is the container for our feelings, our true feelings and our true needs. But really, it's just, what the heck are we feeling?
Yeah.
So when we feel anxious, or when I feel anxious, the first thing I do, well, sometimes not the very first thing, I try to fix it, of course, with the mind, which is what the adolescent's trying to do, is fix it. But when I settle myself down, get into my adult, I'll ask myself, well, wait a minute, what am I feeling? That brings me back into the moment. When I can feel the feelings, the anxiety lifts. It's quite instant, actually. It really happens quickly. When I can feel whatever that feeling is, I may cry, I may be upset, I may be sad, I may be grieving, I don't know, whatever it is. But once I can tune into that and touch it, boom, it lifts, and the anxiety is gone.
I think you just said the real trick, though, is being able to tune into it and touch it. I imagine for so many of us, because anxiety essentially equates to all of the symptoms of not experiencing the feelings, right? Being nauseated and nervous and butterflies and all those things. I know it is difficult even for me to rationalize how do I sit back and get in touch with what the underlying feelings are behind those symptoms. And so it sounds like that's what we're about to hear.
Yeah, and we're not good at that. Nobody teaches us how to do that. And we have, the way that we do it, because we weren't taught, is to just start getting curious about what I'm feeling. That's it. There isn't a big strategy to do this, but it helps me sometimes when I have I pop my child out and I just imagine, what is my 5-year-old? And I'll see her standing in front of me and I'll say, what are you feeling? And I'll look at her, or I sit and I just feel my own feelings inside of me. I picture that child inside of me, or I just sit in it and I go, okay, I'm feeling something. I'll do some deep breathing. That moves energy, which then moves the emotions, so then I can start feeling. But we want to get in touch with what we're feeling. That's the goal.
Sure. Okay.
Anyway, so that is what's going on with my client here. This is somebody that I see on occasion, and she came in for some anxiety relief. And she's having a hard time now even leaving her house. She's having just a lot of anxiety. She has a lot going on. And she had come in, and we were talking about her anxiety, and I walked her through. She really did great, actually. Some anxiety relief. She had gone to the movies with her friend and had a lot of anxiety about it, being in that theater and in closed space with all the other people. So it's a great great analogy for how to relieve anxiety.
Well, I love it for a number of reasons. The second reason is that it's a real experience of working with you in this context. So you can get an idea of what this kind of work really looks like and what is expected, I think, of you as the person kind of doing the work. This is what you can expect. I love it. So I haven't listened to it yet. I'm very excited to hear it. You just sent it to me, so we're gonna drop it in right now into this podcast feed. So check it out. Stay through to the end. It's only about 8 more minutes, and then we'll get out of your hair until next week. Sound good?
Sounds great. Thanks, Pete.
Thank you, Michelle. And now let's go to therapy.
And I just want to say, if anyone out there has something that they're dealing with, please call into the show, leave me a voicemail, and I'll either work with you in person on air, or I'll talk about your issue during the podcast.
931-463-3813.
Thanks, Pete.
Thank you, Michelle.
Okay, so I'm sitting here with Lola, and we're going to discuss your anxiety.
Okay.
So let's just talk about it for a minute here. Talk about your anxiety for just a minute.
Okay, crowded places.
Always? Like you said, like movie theaters.
Yeah, most of the time where
taking your daughter around looking at colleges, and you got all these people.
Auditoriums, things like that.
So you kind of have gotten to the point where you don't want to leave your house very much.
Right.
Okay. So let's think about, you were in the movie theater last night.
Mm-hmm. And I was looking for an end seat, quick escape if I got nervous.
Mm-hmm.
But my friend that was with me insisted we sit in the middle where we could put our feet up. And at first I said, no, let's sit on the end, but I didn't want to impact her. So I sat in the middle and had to talk myself through it for the first little bit till I got involved in the movie. And then I didn't think about it.
So then you can...
Distracted, as long as I was distracted.
So when you were distracted, then you can let it go.
Right.
And then you don't feel panic or anxiety the whole movie, just the first few, like 15 minutes or so?
Right, as long as I give thought to it.
Okay, so if you can go back to being in the movies, just for a minute, if you need to close your eyes, close your eyes. You see yourself walking in, and then your friend wants to go sit in the middle. So I want you to just imagine yourself doing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what's coming up for you? How's it making you feel? What emotions are coming up?
Just unsafe.
Unsafe. Okay. So how do you know you're feeling unsafe? Where do you feel it in your body?
In the lower portion of my body.
Like your stomach area? And
yeah,
your
my
chest?
stomach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I want to ask you just a couple different things. So first of all, when you sit in this unsafe feeling, I want you to just go with the first thought that comes to your mind. But how old do you feel right now when you feel this unsafe?
6.
6 pops in your mind. Great. Okay. So as you're looking at this 6-year-old little girl, or become the 6-year-old little girl, either one is fine. Ask yourself or her, what do I need? Or what does she need when you're feeling this unsafe feeling? Take a breath. Take a deep breath right now.
She, wants to know that somebody's there, that she's safe. Someone's got her back if she were to feel scared or...
That's I like what you said. I agree. Someone's got my back. So are you the little girl, or is she standing in front of you?
No, I'm the little girl.
Okay, so what I'd like for you to do is just, if you could, let her know from your adult, because you are a 46-year-old adult woman, let this little beautiful 6-year-old part of you know, go find her and let her know that you've got her back. Just say to yourself, I've got your back, and I will never leave you. Take a breath.
I've got your back, and I will never leave you.
Mm-hmm. And let her know that anytime she needs support or she needs anything, that you are right here with her. The adult you is right here. Take a breath with your belly. Big belly breath. Good. And what'd she say?
She smiled and jumped on my lap.
Great. Does she want a hug, or what's going on with her?
She just wants to snuggle in my lap and feel my safeness.
So I want you to put her on your lap and see yourself wrapping your arms around her, okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. In fact, hold her like you're holding a little 6-year-old on your hip, right? I want you to walk into the movie as your 46-year-old self, and I want you to hold her on your lap or on your hip.
Okay.
And let me know how it feels again. So you're walking to the movie, but this time you have your child with you, and you are in control as the 46-year-old. Mm-hmm. Tell me how it feels emotionally.
It does feel a lot safer.
Okay.
It's almost like, I got you. Don't worry about it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like when I mothered my own child.
Exactly. So see yourself sitting in the movie, and I want you to close your eyes and imagine yourself walking to the middle seat with your friend. Mm-hmm. You've got your child on your hip, and then you put her right on your lap, and you've got your arms around her. Okay. Mm-hmm. How is it different now?
I'm not even thinking about where I'm going to sit. It's really, it made a big difference, that whole You always do that. You always seem to.
So this anxiety you've been carrying around just kind of was remedied just by popping your child out and holding your child.
Yeah. You make everything applicable and easy. Like, oh, put her on your hip. Oh, she's in the back seat driving with you.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah. It's really simple. Anxiety, in my opinion, I don't like to use absolutes like all and never, but anxiety for me is about not taking a feeling that's coming up for us, like you just felt unsafe, and shoving it. The mind shoves it down. So the mind does not know what to do, or what we would call the adolescent part of us doesn't know what to do. But in your case, she just wants to fix it. So she's trying to fix that feeling of unsafe. So her idea of fixing it is, we'll just sit on the end so you can escape. Because, there's this unsafe, I got to help you escape. Instead of, how can I be with myself? And this is what I mean by how do we stay connected to ourselves? And what I mean by that is, if I'm in my adult, how do I stay connected to what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking? So what you had missed was the feeling. Like, what was the feeling underneath this anxiety? So anxiety comes when we take our emotions and shove them down with the mind. That's that anxiety. It's two energies going against each other. So there's a feeling that's rising up, and the mind is pushing it down. Mm-hmm. And I always use the analogy, it's like two cars going bumper to bumper, at 100 miles an hour. It's like, oh, there's a lot of resistance right there. And you can't feel good like that. And that creates that shakiness in the stomach area, or in the heart starts racing, or you start sweating, or all of those feelings, because there's two energies pushing against each other. So does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So good. Thank you.